Hi there. Welcome back. If you're a woman over 50, chances are really great that your body isn't reacting to food the way it used to. Are you feeling bloated, joint pain, stubborn weight, even mood swings? They could all be related to one thing: inflammation. And what's on your plate can make a big difference. In today's video, I'm delving into the top 10 foods that fuel inflammation, especially for women after 50. How your gut health changes after 50, and some simple swaps to help you eat your way into reducing inflammation in your body and support some healthy aging. So what do we need to watch out for? Well, let's start with some of the biggest culprits. Some you may be a little familiar with. These are foods that are adding fuel to your inflammation instead of lowering it, giving you chronic inflammation. First up is sugar. And especially you'll find refined sugars in sodas, sweet teas, sports drinks, desserts, candies, and condiments. Did you know that ketchup has 4 grams of sugar in it for just a serving size? Just that one little serving. And barbecue sauces can have up to 16 grams of sugar. Same thing with salad dressings, which is why I usually make just about all the salad dressings that we have. In case you're not aware, what does 4 grams mean? Well, it equals 1 teaspoon of sugar. So when you turn that product around or on its side and you look at the nutritional facts and it tells you that it's got 16 grams of sugar in it, well, that means you are consuming 4 teaspoons of sugar, which is also equal to a tablespoon of sugar in just a 1 serving size. And if your serving size happens to be a little bit bigger, oh boy, something to watch out for. So number 2 is refined carbs, like white bread, white rice, white pastas, pies, cakes, and cookies. Number 3 is vegetable oils, such as seed oils, and also soybean oil, corn oil, or canola oil. These have a higher ratio of omega-6s in them, and very common in our Western diet is a high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, and that is associated with increased inflammation. So you want to keep down as much as you can your consumption of omega-6. You need some, but you want to keep it on the small side. Number 4 is processed meats. Think about bacon, sausage, all those deli meats, and bologna that you're putting in your kids' lunches. 5 is ultra processed foods. So you're probably thinking chips and crackers, and that's definitely in that category. But it's also those pre-packaged meals, that make life simple, like frozen pizzas and dinners and instant noodles and soups. Number 6 is excess alcohol. Even a nightly glass of wine can become a trigger for many people. 7 is dairy and gluten, and this isn't a problem for everybody, but for many women, especially over 50, this can irritate the gut and increase inflammation. So it's something to consider, even if you haven't had these issues when you were younger. Number 8 is some vegetables. Now, most vegetables are really great in being anti-inflammatory, but there are certain types that can trigger inflammation in some individuals, not in everybody. but it happens more and more as people get older. And these would include nightshade vegetables, tomatoes, especially when eaten raw, not cooked, eggplant, potatoes, especially those that are fried and mashed, and peppers. Both the sweet pepper, like a bell pepper, and the hot kind. These vegetables all contain alkaloids, which can stimulate the immune system and cause inflammation. Another category that we don't always look at is canned vegetables. They contain a lot of salt, and that's there to help the preservation of them so they'll have extended life on the shelf. However, consuming too much sodium can cause several health problems, including fluid retention, and that leads to inflammation. Eating too much sodium over a long period of time has also been linked to inflammation conditions like heart disease and hypertension. It's really important now to take a minute here and tell you that everybody's different. And some people are much more sensitive than others. And what may cause inflammation in one person may not affect another the slightest bit. But if you suspect that certain vegetables are causing inflammation, it's recommended that you maybe avoid them and see how you're feeling if things get better for you. And of course, always check with your healthcare professional as well. These foods that I mentioned not only can cause inflammation, but they disrupt your gut. They spike your blood sugar and stress your immune system, especially now as we age, because our bodies are more sensitive. So what is this about our gut after 50? Well, as we age, the gut lining becomes thinner and your enzyme production drops, and the good bacteria in your gut also declines. This makes it easier for inflammation to build up, especially when you eat foods that are processed, sugary, and hard to digest. The result are things like gas, bloating, weight gain, even brain fog. Yep, that gut to brain relationship. So if you feel that certain foods are making you feel worse lately, you know what? You're not imagining it. Your gut just isn't what it used to be. But there is hope. So let's look at some anti-inflammatory foods. There are foods that actually help to reduce inflammation and support your body as it's aging. Like leafy greens, for example, kale, spinach, arugula. Here's a tip to release some of that bitterness that kale is associated with. Massage it, in your fingers. Just rub it together. This not only releases the bitterness, it also tenderizes it, making it easier to chew, and it actually increases the nutrient absorption from the kale. Eat colorful fruits and vegetables. You've heard it, eat the rainbow. Eat omega-3 rich foods. Omega-3 helps to reduce the inflammation, and it's something that most people don't get enough of. So that would be things like salmon, chia seeds, walnuts, and flax seeds. Use olive oil. It's a much better choice than those seed oils. And of course, you've probably heard about turmeric and ginger. They have powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Fermented foods are also great. They help your gut, which helps reduce the inflammation. Things like sauerkraut, yogurt, kombucha help your gut, but I want you to know one thing. To get the most benefits, you want to make sure that you have these foods in their live culture forms. So that means if you're purchasing sauerkraut, you want to make sure that it's in the refrigerated section, not the canned stuff in the aisles. It doesn't have any gut health benefits. But don't worry, eating anti-inflammatory foods doesn't mean that you're going to go hungry or that you're giving up flavor, anything but. It's about eating in a way that's going to support your energy, your joints, your mood, and your longevity. It's actually the way I eat. Something that I have found to be helpful is this digestive enzyme. I take one with every meal. It not only helps with better digestion, it helps my body also absorb the nutrients from the foods I'm taking in much better as well. I really notice the difference because, I'm just at that point where my body doesn't produce as many enzymes on its own. Here's some simple swaps for big results. Switch out the sweetened yogurt for plain Greek yogurt and add fresh or frozen fruit to it. Switch out white bread for whole grain or wheat bread or sourdough. I love sourdough. Switch out canola oil for extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. And those sugary drinks. That's a hard one. But as you keep doing it, it gets easier. I can't even remember the last time I've had a soda. Instead, I have herbal teas or infused water with fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, or essential oils. In fact, my favorite drinks are teas that I make with lemon balm or mint that I grow in my garden. Or it's water. And my favorite combination of essential oils in it is just a drop of spearmint and tangerine essential oils. Oh, it's such a great combination. Speaking of sugar, I have now switched out all my sugars in all my recipes, baked goods, fresh, things. It doesn't matter. Salad dressings even, or stevia in the raw. I started first by switching out just a third, and then I gradually increased it over time. We don't even know the difference now. And when I give it to other people, they don't usually know the difference either. Remember, you don't have to do everything all at once. Just begin by replacing one or two things, and over time, your body's going to really thank you for it. It does take time to have that inflammation get reduced from the foods that you're eating. And so you may have some inflammation pain still while you're adjusting your foods and your drinks. I would like to suggest what my husband and I like to use whenever we have any pain. We use either the Deep Blue Rub or this Deep Blue Sick with Copaiba. We just apply it right to the area that we need it, and it gives us some great relief. We always take it when we're traveling because, you sit in the car for a really long time and you don't have as much control over what foods and stuff is going into your body when you're out and about. Check it out along with the links to the other things that I mentioned below in the descriptions. Now you know that the food on your plate can either trigger inflammation or help to calm it down. And the best part is most of the time you are in control. Check out my video, 8 Eating Habits Keeping Me Healthy at 74 for more tips. In the next video, I'm going to dive into some daily habits that help to naturally reduce inflammation as well. We'll be going over a few things that are especially tailored for women over 50. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on that bell so that you will not miss out on that next video. And if you found any of this helpful, let me know in the comments what you would like about it or what changes you're going to be making. See you soon.